Hello everybody, welcome to this wonderful reading. I'm Zoe Youngs, welcome. So basically in this reading for May 27th to June 1st of 2025, this is going to be a reading for everybody who's going to be paying attention to this reading. And when you are focusing, you're focusing on what's going on in that way, and you have to understand that it's the way it seems to be. So whether if you are in a long-term relationship or a short relationship, or whatever it is, you feel like how everything's going to be fine, because in that way you need to understand what's going on in that perspective and how it's going to be, right? So that's how it is in one way or another. And when you have to accept on how you're feeling, you have to accept on how you're feeling, because in that way you have to think, okay, well, I know what to do, I got this, I know how I can understand it. That's the way it happens. But you have to have your own dignity and your own self-respect. And say, okay, well, this is the way it needs to be. I got this. I know what to do, and it's how it seems to be. So you have to understand that there's always a play-by-play situation. Whether you are enjoying it, whether you seem to be all happy and whatever, just that's how it seems to be. And when that is very interesting, you have to know from the way of how you feel, the way how you act, the way how you can understand about how you're feeling in that perspective, because that's how it seems to be. You need to understand that, right? So this Oracle card, it says honesty. I can't always expect the truth from others, but I can expect it from myself. That's the way it goes, because when you have honesty, you have to be truthful of how it is. If you're not trying to spread lies, whether you're trying to work it out, when you have to understand about how you're feeling, the way how this is, right? You have to understand about the way of how you're feeling in one way or another. That's the way it goes, right? Whether if you are acting, or if you're being nice, or you're being who you are feeling with, that's how it is. But you have to base on that. You have to base on about how, when you have honesty, to understand that of how you're feeling. That's the way it seems to be. And when you do that, you have to understand that you need to be expressive of how you're feeling. That's the way it goes, right? So that's how it seems to be. But we're going to look at what's going on in that way, and that's how it seems to be in that way, because that's how it kind of goes in one way or another, right? So that's how it is, because the way of how this is, the way how you're going to understand, is the way it seems to be, and it's the way it kind of goes, right? So this is the way it seems to be in that opportunity, but this is how it is. So here we go. So in this way, about this whole entire reading, it does make sense in this way. The Ace of Cups represents basically, Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer. This represents, romance and that particular criteria. The Knight of Pentacles does represent trust, because you trust on that situation. So you would deal with an Virgo, Capricorn, or Taurus. The Tower is upright, there's transformation, because everything is changing. That's the way it goes. The Seven of Pentacles is upright, because it does represent a Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. The Strength does represent Leo as a fire sign, as a zodiac sign. But you have strength because you have bravery. The Queen of Cups does represent, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. But it does represent empathy, two sides of the story here. One makes sense, one doesn't make sense. And then now once reversed, there is no fear, right? That's the way it goes. And the Ace of Pentacles Ace of Wands reversed means that there is no no new beginnings. That's the way it goes. But the way how this is, the way of how I'm going to be doing it as a way of knowing, we have to understand about how it's going to be in that way. We have to understand of how we're going to be prove of how everything is in one or another, right? We have to go with the flow, right? And when we go with the flow, we have to pay attention whether we like it or not, whether we have to be sincere, whether we do exactly what we're told to do. And when we have to face it, we have to face our own realities, right? So it's like how everything seems to be in that way, and you have to do exactly how you're told to do in that perspective. That's how it seems to be in that way, right? That's how particular it seems to be in that way, right? So you have to be, how you can understand whether it's going to be on, the way how it is. So I'm going to look at the past situation. But the way how this is, I'm going to do it a different way of how it is. So let's see what's going on. So the 10 of Wands reverse, followed the Sun card reverse, followed by the 3 of Pentacles reverse. Yeah, because you're not having excitement. You have negativity. There's no burdens yet, but the way of how this, when you're in negativity, it's like, why are you feeling like this? Why, you're not being honest? Because that's the way it goes. It's like, why I'm feeling like this? Because things are going to be a way of how it is in that way. You need to know how you can express yourself on whether it seems to be. That's the way it goes. From the good and the bad and the ugly. That's the way it goes, right? But the way how this is, you have to be understand on how it is. So, what's happening between the Three of Pentacles, the Sun, and the Ten of Wands? The Page of Wands is upright, yeah, because there could be very, interesting of how it is. So you could be dealing with Leo, Aries, Sagittarius as fire signs, as zodiac signs, but you pay attention to what's going on, right? So you could be feeling like there's a masculine situation, whether you like it, whether you're imposing this is the way it seems to be. And you're thinking, okay, well, I know what to do, I got this, but that's how it is. It's like, yeah, but how you're going to do it, right? This is not short and sweet. This is not your cup of coffee, cup of tea, whatever it is. But you understand of how it seems to be. What's happening between this Nine of Pentacles here? The Swords reverse, the Fool is upright, the Chariot is upright. Yeah. So the Eight of Swords reverse, you're not having any anxiety. No, you're not. But based on when you're having the Fool, it's like you want everything to change. That's why it seems to be that. And the Chariot is upright because there is basically progress here. When you have progress, it's like you have to understand that, oh, well, everything seems to be fine. I know what to do. I got this. Alright. Because that's the way it seems to be. Because you have to understand about from the way how this is, the way of how everything seems to be good, you have to think, okay, well, I know what to do. I got this. I know that everything seems to be fine. Alright, this is the way it seems to be. I need to express myself on the way of how it goes. What's between the Tower and the Nine of Wands? The Seven of Swords reverse, follow the Nine of Swords is upright, follow the Eight of Pentacles reverse, follow the Lovers is upright, follow the Death card reverse, follow the Empress is upright. Yeah, because there's nourishment. There's no new beginnings, or no endings. The Lovers is upright, there's decisions. The Nine of Swords is upright, there's trauma. The Eight of Pentacles, there's, you're not looking for more of your career. And the Seven of Swords reverse, you're not feeling deceit. That's the way it goes. But you have to prove yourself wisely and say, alright, well, I know what to do, I got this, I know everything's going to be fine. That's how it goes. Because you have to know that this is just the way of how it goes. And one or another, it's like, okay, well, I know I'm going to do it. That's how it's going to be. Right? Because you have to understand that things will go in a different perspective on the way of how it is. The way how you can be how it is one or another. What's between this Queen of Cups here and the Seven of Pentacles? Ace of Pentacles reversed, follow the King of Cups reversed, follow the Four of Cups is upright, follow the Queen of Wands is upright. Yeah, because there's charisma here, right? The King of Cups reversed, there's no support. You're not having any support. The Four of Cups is upright, there's a distraction. Because you're trying to be distracted, right? That's what you want. Because you're trying to proceed of how you're going through in one or another. It's like, why I'm feeling like this? Because things are going to be in that perspective, whether you like it or not. Whether you think that everything is like PG, that's why it seems to be. But you have to understand that when you do it, that's the way how it goes. What's between this King of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles? The Seven of Cups is upright. Yeah, because you're having a delusion. When you have a delusion, it's like you're thinking like, why I'm having this? Because that's how it goes, right? It's like, why I'm kind of seeing this in a different way and saying, alright, well, I know what to do, I got this, but then things to be in that perspective. That's why it seems to be. You have to improve yourself wisely on how it seems to be in that way, right? So what's happening in the middle of this situation? The Fool reverse, yeah, because there is no change. Now, when you look at it, you think that you're going to have change, you're going to have honesty, you're going to have self-respect. Alright, but that's how it is. So, I'm going to go from the middle to the left side. So, the Devil reverse, follow the Chariot reverse, follow the Moon is upright, follow the Empress upright. Yeah, because you want to have structure, you want misrotations, you want exactly what you want to do. The Chariot is reversed because you have no progress. The Devil reversed because there's no obsessions. That's the way it seems to be. The Emperor is reversed, the Fool reversed, the Hermit is upright, but Magician stuff, right? Yeah, because you want skill, you're looking for a soulmate, you want things to be happening in one way or another, and you're thinking, okay, well, this seems to be, I need to have my own way of knowing what to do, because that's what it's based on that. Based on how you can do it in that way, right? This is the way of how you can look at it from a different perspective, and you think, okay, well, I know what to do, I got this, alright, but you have to understand, the way how this is, going to be short and sweet, you pay attention to it, whether you like it or not. But then you have to expose yourself, or you have your own expectations, whatever it is, because you pay attention on how you're feeling. That's why it seems to be. Whereas between the middle and the right side, the devil is upright, follow the death card is upright, follow the star reverse, follow the high priestess reverse, follow the sun card reverse. Yeah, because you're in negativity on the right side. You know, when you have the devils up right there, it's basically, violence, right? Because you're not getting along. The death card is up right because there are endings here, right? Because that's the way it goes. So you could be dealing with Scorpio as a water sign. The devil's upright, it does represent Capricorn, but it does represent where you're having violence, you're not getting along, you're not getting respected enough, because you're in negativity, right? Once you're in negativity, you're staying in negative. You're not basically staying positive. You're not, going with the flow, whatever it is, because you have to know. It's like, well, this is the way it seems to be. I know what to do. It's like, really, it's like, why, Because there's a good saying: is seeing is believing, believing is seeing. That's all you can do, but then you have to realize like how it's very unprofessional, because you have to pay attention whether you like it or not. So it's like interesting. So what's between the middle and the right side, middle to the left side? Like, so the Knight of Cups is upright, for the High Priest is upright, for the Four of Pentacles upright, for the Judgment reverse, for the World reverse, for the Five of Swords is upright. Yeah, because there's conflict, right? Because you're not getting along, right? When you're in negative, it's like, why I'm feeling like this, why I'm not being honest, why I'm having all these things, because it's like you're thinking like, why? Because it's like you're not getting along. If you're getting along, you pay attention. But when you're not getting along, it's what's the point? What's the point about having this issue, whether you're having romance or not? It all depends about your point of view, right? It does. Because you're thinking, well, I know what to do, but then why I'm feeling like this? Because the World reverse, there's incompletion. The Judgment reverse, there's no action. But if you put the two of them together, as in the World and the Judgment, if I'm going to clarify that, the King of Pentacles reverse, there's no security. Four of Wands reverse, there's no, you're not going to a wedding. But the King of Swords is upright because there's knowledge here, right? It's like, okay, well, I know what to do. This is the way it seems to be. This is how it seems to be, right? Because when you pay attention, you have to understand that. What's between the middle and the left side, please? The Human is upright, for the Empress reverse, followed by the Three of Pentacles upright. Yeah, because you want the excitement. You want things to be excited. You want things to be looked at. You want to be who you're feeling like. Because if you have restrictions, you're being restricted, right? When you have restrictions, it's like, okay, I know what to do. I know how I got this. That's how it seems to be. Everything has to be appealing of knowing what to do, right? That's why it seems to be that. What's in the middle? The Six of Pentacles here is, yeah, because you're not having any kindness. When you're not being unkind, when you're having negativity, when you're not getting along, it's like, why? Why I'm having this issue? Because you're not paying attention, right? You have to know exactly how it is, because if you're being honest, you know what to do. If you know that you're being sincere, you know exactly how it takes, because that's how it seems to be. So let's see what the universe is saying here. So we're going to go from the middle to the left, middle to the right. For one star, there's celebration. Six of Swords over, there's movement. The Six of Cups here, there's no past. The Ace of Wands is upright, there's new beginnings. Yep. The Three of Swords over, there's basically heartbreak. Yeah, because you're not getting along, you're feeling sad, you're whimpering. because that's the way it seems to be. It's like when you do that, it's like how it is one or another, and you think that okay, everything's fine, I got this, alright, hooray. It's like, yeah, that's how it seems to be. You're focusing on how you're doing, focusing about what you want, what you get, how it seems to be. You have to understand about how you can do it in one or another. That's how it seems to be. This is not the case of closed, alright, saying, alright, I got this, I know what to do. It's like, but when you're feeling like it, when you're feeling like you're going to have heartbreak and you're feeling sad because you're whimpering, because that's how it is. You're acting like everything's fine. It's like, yeah, but why you're acting like that? Stop acting like that. Stop acting to be negatively all of a sudden. If you get what you want, you pay attention to it. It doesn't mean that, okay, well, it's all about you. It's all about you. Yes, it is. But you have to pay attention, right? That's how it is. What's happening between the middle and the right side, please? The Strength of Aquarius, there's no bravery. The Sun of Cups, there's a delusion. The King of Pentacles, there's insecurity. Six of Pentacles, there's no kindness. See, there's no kindness here. There's no kindness here. Right? Because that's how it is. If you have no kindness, you're not getting along. Right? Because it doesn't make any sense. Two wrongs don't make it right. It doesn't. Because that's how it seems to be. So what's happening with this kindness on the right side? The Ten of Swords is upright because it does represent conclusions. Yeah, because you're having all these conclusions, right? That's how it is. So you could be dealing with another, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. You could deal with another Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. You could deal with another Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. You could deal with another Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. You could deal with another Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. There are things that you must learn first in order to do that. What's in the middle? The Ace of Cups start with their satisfaction. Yeah, because you're thinking that, how it is, where you want to be satisfied, you want to be looked at, you want to be sincere. But that's how it seems to be, right? So you have to understand that whether you understand that, that's the way it goes. You have to focus on that. Focus about having honesty. When you have honesty, you pay attention whether you like it or not, whether you think that everything seems to be fine, everything seems to be all good. That's how it is. But when you're feeling wonky, if you're feeling like how it is, it's like, why are you feeling like, oh, if I'm having negativity and I'm not being kind or whatever, I'm not paying attention, whatever it is, it's like, why you're having that? It's like, you have to pay attention whether you're feeling like, okay, well, this is not going to be hopeless, I don't want to have all these things. But then that's how it is, right? If you're in a long-term relationship or a short-term relationship, it doesn't matter. You pay attention about how you're having honesty, having self-respect, having self-control, whatever it is. But that's how it seems to be. But I hope you all like this video. Please understand about this video. Hope you understand it. Hope you pay attention to it. Hope you have your own listening skills. But that's how it seems to be. That's the way it goes. But I hope you all like it. Hope you understand it. But that's how it seems to be. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful day to you all. And I'll see you next time when I do. And that's how it is. But thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Bye for now. Really, thank you. And bye.